Hi, I'm Mark, and welcome to my newly renovated workshop. I did not have let's tear down the old workshop all the way to the cinder blocks and then rebuild it on my 2024 bingo card, but here we are. Today, I'll be giving you a tour of the renovated space. All of the old work shelves, or workbenches rather, were along these two walls. And so as I mentioned in my last Dr. Theo video, all of that had to be ripped out. So they've been replaced, all the tool storage anyway, most of the tool storage anyway, has been replaced with these cobalt tool storage units. A couple of workbenches, these are both brand new. One of them is going to house my 3D printer, and then the one in the center is my new main workbench. Lots of shelving. All this was actually here before, but I've been rethinking how this works to make better use of the space. And then, if you may recall, the silver table that was in the center before is now here, and that's another one of my secondary work areas, workbenches. Let's begin by talking about what kicked all this off. We kept having water issues in our basement. And as a result, we finally broke down and had a drainage trench along the exterior walls and this sump pump installed to take the water out. In order to get there, we had a whole lot of work to do. Obviously, we had to get everything out of the basement. We had to pull the carpeting up from the finished side, and then over here it was just tile. One of the things we discovered in this process was that the tile contained asbestos, so we had to have that professionally removed. Then we could finally have the drainage trench and the sump pump put in, and once all of that was done, then we could put in the new flooring. So over here in the workshop and on the unfinished side of the basement, really the lesser finished side of the basement, we have this new commercial grade vinyl flooring. So this will hopefully stand up to many, many years of wear and tear, especially back here in the workshop. And once we had all of that done, then the workshop looked like this. Now this area is 11¼ by about 12½ feet on the dimensions. So that puts it at just over 140 square feet. That also includes the items that I can't do anything about. For example, the sump pump. There's a radon exhaust pipe there in the corner. We have the water heater over here. So because I'm so constrained on floor space, I'm trying to make as good a use of the vertical space as I can. And so that's why you're seeing, tool storage go vertically now. I've added at least one shelf unit here. These, like I said before, were already here, but I'm trying to make better use of the space. So things like the stacking containers with items in it, something that you can still get to relatively easily, but it doesn't take up any more floor space than what's already here. Now, one of the things that I did want to address with this revamp is the main workbench. The ones that were along the walls were actually built in. They were hammered to the wall, they were hammered or glued, I should say, down to the floor, and they were really only accessible from one side. So which presented a couple of challenges. One, it was hard to work with anybody else in here because you were side by side. It was also hard to film because I'm standing in front of the space, in front of the work. The light's coming directly down on me or even behind me, and there was very limited places where I could put a camera to capture what I was doing. So with the new workbench, I wanted it specifically in the middle of the room, which gives me the ability to have three sides open, at least three sides open. So that means that I can have two people on this working on something at the same time. I added lights, an additional light up here to balance out the room. So now it doesn't matter where you're at, there's better lighting. And then the silver table behind me can act as a camera stand, viewing the work that's going on the main workbench, so we can see it from the side and get a better picture of what's going on. The other thing I wanted to address with the workbench, if you recall in my old one, I had a vise mounted to the top of the workbench, and that was really the only place I could put that thing. But it always always crimped the space. I was having to always work around it. With the new one, the new bench has a vise built in, and it's on the side. And the first few times I saw this from other makers, it was an easy sell. This just made total sense to me as to where the vise should actually be. Now I'll have the full reign or full use of the table. Now, one of the other things, not just because this is a small space, but also because this is in my basement, there's really only way to get things down into the basement, and that's through the staircase. And the staircase has at least one pinch point that's only 29 inches wide. So anything that I brought down here was now seriously constrained by the dimensions of the box or the item and the weight. So everything that you're seeing in here, each individual item, I think the heaviest item might actually be the workbench. I think this is 120 or so pounds when it's in its box. And my intention was at some point this is going to all have to come back out of here, when we move. So everything that is down here is movable. Nothing is nailed down, nothing is glued down, which also means that I can rearrange it if I need to. So I am very, very excited to finally get my shop back, and very excited to get back into building stuff. Coming up, I've got a quick little project, something to kind of just break in the space, and so I'll be recording that as a separate thing, and then hopefully finally be able to get back to Dr. Theo and wrap that one up. I've also got some exciting ideas for what the next major project is going to be. So please stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.